Quite Cheap here with a recap of Season 2 of The Legend of Korra. I know I said I was going to review these things, but with the finale coming out this weekend, I decided that it was all just, coming out at once, and instead of rather than just record 4 separate reviews this late in the season, me and Josh made the executive decision to just go ahead and recap it for you guys. So this is an overall season review, if you will. I personally love this show. Let me say before this, I love this show. I loved last season, lots of political drama and intrigue. I feel like it was really aimed towards us, the people that were kids when we were watching the original Last Airbender show. As a result, this show was kind of grown up, like it was scaled towards us. I figure it would kind of be hard for kids to follow. There were some, very dramatic and adult topics like last season. That continued a little bit this season, but I'll jump into that later. Let's quick jump into a recap. This season saw lots of action from a Southern Civil War to a, giant spirit monster attacking Republic City at the end of the last episode. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. It all got wrapped up, though, in a nice little bow, and maybe I'll go into that. But focusing around Korra and her uncle Unalaq, who is basically a spirit-obsessed leader of the Northern Water Tribe who wanted to merge with this evil spirit called Vaatu to become an ultra-powerful being. And that ties into the origins of the Avatar, as there were 2 great spirits, good and evil, Rava and Vaatu, and the Avatar comes from a fusion of Wan, the first Avatar, with this good spirit, and that gave him all the spirit powers, and so that's continued the cycle. But also we got background on Avatar Wan, as I just mentioned, who was the original Avatar, and we saw how he got his powers in probably the 2 best episodes of the season, were Beginnings Part 1 and 2. In my opinion, those were by far and away the best. And it made me really want like a Wan-centric show. I wish we got more of his adventures. As it was, we kind of just got, a sad little bit. Or not really a sad little bit, it was a good story. It was like stretched over 2 episodes. Brilliant story, but I'm just sad because I wish we got more. Steve Yeun, everybody, great job from him. So this season there was a ton of action. To me it started off a little slow, but it essentially got better towards the end. It picked up about halfway through the season, I feel. But my main issue with this season, I feel, is that they sort of rushed to the finale. It's like you finally figured out what Unalaq was going to do, like 5 episodes, with 5 episodes left in the season, and I was really expecting them to stretch this into a second season of, like, Unalaq being a bad guy, and just, extend that whole story a little bit and have it be a little bigger, give it some time to develop. But they rushed it, and they managed to wrap it up in, these last 4 episodes, and I feel like it was actually really well done for a sort of rushed effort. But quick, let's go to some pros and cons. My biggest pro is the introduction of Varrick. John Michael Higgins, ladies and gentlemen. Personally, my favorite character on the show right now. I would say he's up there with Bolin for me. Just because he really, it was sort of like Tom Hiddleston in Thor. He stole every scene he was in. Like, literally. Julie, do the thing is probably the most quoted thing. I've seen so many memes of that. You go Google Julie do the thing, and there are tons of them. There's one of him as Tony Stark with the Jericho missile coming up behind. But while he wasn't the bad guy that a lot of people thought he would be, and I actually called that from the first time he was introduced that he would be a bad guy, but I'm really glad that they made him, they reversed course, and he ended up being a pretty good guy in the end. So they didn't develop that character that way, and they sort of left that dangling where he's going to be next season, but he did escape, but we'll see where he's going to be. Is he going to be, on the lam, or is he going to be, back to his former status? They left that open-ended, but he definitely was one of the best things to come out of this season. Moving on, Wan, like I said, played by the brilliant Steve Yeun from The Walking Dead. On the expanded origins of the Avatar, as I mentioned, it's the fusion with Rava, the good spirit. That just, to me, was a definite needed thing, was the expansion of the origins, because they were sort of glossed over in the last one. Oh, they learned bending from the animals. No, in this one they show you they got it from the lion turtles, but they really learned how to use it from the animals. And I think that it was just a really good job of explaining. Arguably, it was sort of a filler episode, because it kind of took away from the overall, the overall storyline, but in my opinion, it added to the storyline, and it was, the best episodes of this season. And like I said, I want a Wan-centric show now. Make it happen, Nickelodeon. And there was a hilarious Bolin storyline with Bolin becoming like the first movie star of this Legend of Korra world. Basically because of Varrick. Varrick using him, essentially, to create propaganda, to support the South and create like a civil war so he could sell weapons. Really, that just gave us so much brilliant stuff, especially that I feel like it kind of culminated with the best moments coming in A Night of a Thousand Stars, where Bolin, the hilarious scene with him and Mako when Mako's in jail, and then him saving the president, and sort of in direct corollary to what he's doing on the screen. I felt like that was just fantastic. Like I said, Bolin's one of my favorite characters. And then there was an increased role for Tenzin's family, and this is fantastic. I really love that we got to see more Jinora, and it definitely seems like I'm going to predict that essentially, eventually, she's going to be the one to surpass Tenzin as the leader of the Airbending, like these last Airbenders. I feel like that's going to be, you know, a huge thing. I feel like she's going to play a much bigger role next season, especially if they go the Spirit Ride again. But less Milo, which I'm kind of sad about, because I was waiting for more of the Be the Leaf. Less quotable lines from Milo. So sad. But another great thing about this season was just the varied styles of episodes. In the Mako-centric episode where he was chasing down the leads about Varric, we got sort of like a noir film. Then in the beginnings, it was sort of changed to look like, you know, this Chinese woodblock prints in the background. Very simplified brushstroke art style. The way that they did these episodes was just varied. Sort of like... I wouldn't say sort of like Breaking Bad, because that's a ridiculous comparison that I don't think anyone should make. But just the way that they can change, I would say it's more like Community, and the way Community is directed changes basically from, you know, episode to episode. But now let's get into some cons. Korra was really dumb in the beginning of the season, and it's sort of like she doesn't command. It made me feel like she doesn't command a lot of respect as the Avatar. That no one was like, oh. Everyone was like, oh, you can't take sides in this civil war because you'd be biased. It's, well, yeah, people would think you're biased, but it's an invasion. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry. I kind of didn't get why they weren't like, oh, yeah, Korra, if you totally say this is fucked up, then everybody should listen to you. I do like the, because she would be biased. I like that they mentioned that, but I don't really follow their train of thought as to how it would be a bad thing for her to speak out against an invasion. And then it basically... You know, she was kind of a bitch, too, to Mako, and it took her losing her memory conveniently to settle that. And that's one of my biggest net low points of the season, was it led to the Wand thing, but I really don't wish that she had to lose her memory. It was kind of just contrived. Some of the relationship aspects I felt were shoehorned a little bit. I mean, it comes with the territory. It's a kid's show. They're gonna, or not really a kid's show, it's like a teen show. They're going to address that. But some of the things, especially all the shit that was happening in the last episode... was kind of like, okay. It was hilarious, but it was like, shoehorned. Like I said, less Milo. Okay, next season, more Milo. Write it down. It was a slow start, and there was an unclear big bad. It's like, last season was great because we knew, like, Amon was the big bad guy. How are you gonna kill Amon? Was basically, you knew that from episode, like, 1-ish. I think it was actually like episode 2 or 3. But this one, it took really like half of the season to finally reveal who, like, yes, Unalaq is a bad guy. I mean, you kind of knew, but you didn't really know, you know what I'm saying? You didn't know about Vaatu and all that stuff. And that's fine, I get you're trying to lead up to it. But it was just, this season felt like it had a much slower start than last season. Also, there was just less political drama that made last season so great. I feel like the whole politics of, you know, last season, with the whole Amon thing and the equalist movement was really one of the defining factors and what made that such a great show. Because it felt like grown up. It felt like like our generation, not like the kids that are in school and watching cartoons now. It felt like something we could watch along with them. I mean, there's plenty of stuff in there for them. But it really felt like something that they had designed in, you know, with, you know, us in mind as well. So looking at all that, I would have to give this season an overall rating of an 8.5. Last season I gave a 9.5. We didn't review it, but I gave it a 9.5. So a little bit of a step back. I do like the expanded origin and the expanding spirit stuff. I would make predictions about next season, but, like, I'm in the same position that I was before this season. I have no idea what they're going to do. None. A lot of my friends are saying, hey, it's probably going to be more spirit stuff. I'm a little bit on the fence about that. I kind of hope they move away from that direction now that spirit portals are open. We've never seen an earthbending bad guy, really, like a big bad that's from Earth. We've seen 2 waterbenders now. Hopefully we'll go... I mean, I don't want them to go back to the Fire Nation, but... So yeah, that about wraps it up. Do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, liking lets us know that you like the video. Subscribing lets us know that you want to see all of our videos. Commenting is the best way to reach us, really, because we are active in those comments. We'd be out here in the streets with these comments. You know, just let us know. We'll hit you up if you have an idea or suggestion for a video. We are always looking for suggestions. If there's something you'd like to see us review, let us know. Just suggest stuff. Just hit us up with anything. You can tell us that it was a good video. You can tell us that it was a sucky video. Just please like, comment, and subscribe. This is White Sheep signing off. I will see you guys next time.